As I was telling you a little earlier, I played my favorite Norman Brown song, which is Better Days Ahead. I played that to death. I'm not going to lie. I played it over and over and over to the point where some people told me, do you have another album? And I was like, yeah. I'll play something else. But I really loved that song. Then Norman went forward and he started playing some other stuff. And, you know, he's got a great album now, Let's Get Away. And every song on there is just a hit. And, you know, I don't know if Norman's out on tour, but I'm just going to ask him right now. Hey, Norman Brown, how you feeling today?
I'm feeling great, brother. How you doing, Karl?
I'm doing great, man. Norman Brown, ladies and gentlemen. Give him a big round of applause. Oh, yeah. Thank you for hey, he comes in with music playing. We were talking a little bit earlier. Today's my birthday, Norman.
Today is your birthday?
Today is my birthday.
My goodness, man. Today is my niece's birthday. Today is my brother's birthday.
Yeah,
Happy birthday,
thank you.
my brother.
Thank you, man. Thank you. Now I can say Norman Brown has sung to me. I feel special.
Oh, come on. That's what's up. That's what's up, man.
Yo, bro. So
we thank you so much for the love, man. You're doing a great job over there. Thank you for inviting me here. And hello. Hi. I don't like to say hello because hell is low.
That's right.
I like to keep it high with the most high.
There you go.
Hi, Normantic fans. How y'all doing out there?
Oh, man.
Thank you for sticking with my man, Karl.
Well, thank you, Norman Brown. Thank you, Norman. Oh, man. Let's talk Norman Brown music. You started when? How long have you been in the industry now?
My goodness, brothers, I'm on my 13th album, and it's with the collaboration albums. You know, I did 3 with my group BWB, Kirk Whalum and Rick Braun, and I did 1 with Gerald Albright. So what's that, 16 albums?
Yeah.
1990, I signed with Motown Records.
Wow. You know, one question I always wanted to ask you, because early on in your career, some of the DJs would go back and forth. How many times did they get you confused with Norman Connors?
Okay. Norman Connors is the reason I got into business.
Really?
I don't know if the fans know that, but yes, I was playing at a club one night, and Norman Connors' wife happened to be there, and she invited me to meet Norman. So I go to Norman Connors' house, the kids and everybody. We had Thanksgiving dinner together. After dinner, Norman Connors sat on his couch. He said, "Brownie, let me hear them songs you got. Let me hear that music." I gave him my demo tapes. It was a bunch of cassettes.
Uh-huh.
He sat on the couch and put the headphones on, so that made me really nervous. And he sat there, he sat there really still for about 2 hours, going through all of these cassette tapes that I had. So I'm pacing. I don't know what to think. And he takes the headphones off. He says, "Brownie, we got to get this music to the world. I got to get you a deal." That's when it started.
Wow.
That was 1987, like 88. By 1990, he had found me a deal at Motown Records after everyone else said no. I was a George Benson copy. And I signed with Motown. They were starting their Mo Jazz label and looking for an artist. So they came to see me. He brought him down. Steve McKeever brought him down to see me play at a local club in Los Angeles. And, man, it's a star-studded night, too. Chucky Booker was hanging out. Actor Miguel Nunez was there. And, you know, it was a packed kind of scene. So we rocked the house, and afterwards, Steve says, "Norman, man, you're just what we're looking for. Now we can start our Mo Jazz label." So they started putting the label, the jazz division together. Didn't have a name or any of that. They didn't want to start anything until they had an artist, and they picked me. So my first record launched the Mo Jazz label, which is the very first jazz label on Motown.
Wow.
That was 1991, just between us.
Yeah, that's a fact there, man. I remember that. I was so happy they actually put that out. Because at that time, a lot of, when we call them contemporary jazz artists today, but a lot of artists like you weren't getting played on regular radio because they couldn't figure out where to put them. You know?
Yeah, ironically, man, and you're right, it was contemporary jazz then. The name smooth jazz had not been invented. It hadn't come around yet. So my first 2 records were put out there as a contemporary jazz artist. And, Motown got me played, man. I mean, the song I did with Stevie Wonder off the first record, a remake of his Too High, made the movie. Wesley Snipes was starring in that year. Oh. So Passenger 57, that's what it's called.
Okay.
So I got a song in the movie on the soundtrack. And Just Between Us went number 1. But it was different then, man. Each region could just go into the album and pick what they liked for that region. The DJs had control then. So those first 2 records, I mean, After the Storm, my second record, that record was on the charts for over 2 years.
How do you feel about that when you have an album that just stays on the charts forever? Do you feel like you should wait till it comes down before you write more music or put something else out, or are you ready to just keep cooking?
Yeah, that's a good question because I didn't know what to I kept writing, and the tour was over, and the record was still going and going, and finally I said to Motown, "Look, man, I'm ready to make a new record, man." And they like, "Okay, hold off for a minute." So just about every record on that CD got played on the radio in some region because they didn't have, it wasn't smooth jazz then, so it was not just give us a single,
right?
But the Janet Jackson cut was a single. Take Me There was a single. Lydian, of course, that was a big single. Love's Holiday and all those songs, man. And then I won a Soul Train Music Award for that Jazz Album of the Year. Yeah. That record won Gavin Music Award of the Year. BET, Billboard, it was crazy. And, my thing was, how am I going to follow this up?
I know. That's what I was going to say. So what do you do after you get all of this stuff,
Yeah, Motown kind of was staring at me like, okay, yeah, let's see what you're going to do now. So the saying is, your sophomore record determines whether you're going to have longevity in the business. After the Storm was my sophomore record, and it blew the top off. I mean, writers were saying stuff like, this is the new Breezin' album for guitar kind of stuff. Well, I ended up writing another record. I called it Better Days Ahead. That joint, that was the single. Now we're into smooth jazz, and they're putting out singles. So Better Days Ahead was the single, first single off that record, and it was the most added to radio single in history at that point.
Wow.
I mean, the first week it came out, it's like all the stations jumped on it. It was incredible. But I have a great story for you for that one.
Okay.
I got a fan letter from a prisoner that was on death row. And, back then it was a physical letter. You got it at the post office box. So I'm standing on this balcony on the 20th floor of this hotel in Las Vegas reading this fan letter. This guy's telling me, "Thank you, Norman." He says, "My number has come up. I'm a death row inmate. And my number has come up. And it's time for me to meet my maker." And he said, "Before your song, Better Days Ahead, I was terrified. I didn't know what to think or what to do, and I was not ready for this." He said, "But because of your song, Better Days Ahead, listen to this, man, I can die now, face my maker, ask for forgiveness for my sins, and it will be better days ahead after that for me."
Oh, wow.
Man, that blew my mind to read that, Carl.
I know it did. I mean, that had to be extremely moving.
Extremely. I'm saying this is an instrumental song for those who don't know it.
Right.
There's no words to it, but I heard words when I read that then. I see them too, those better days ahead. You'll see them too, better days. I said, my goodness, this dude heard all that, man, and his number came up, and he went, they put him to sleep, and the rest is his story.
Wow. That is something else. That's it.
Yeah.
I tell you, that is really moving. I probably had a couple of days where I needed to take off after that.
Dude, I felt felt like I needed a nap for about a year, but I felt what it did for me, though, I tell you, Carl, it showed me the magnitude of what I was doing. It showed me this was so much bigger than just this guy who loves to play the guitar and is good at it, doing his thing. It was so much more. It showed me the calling. And so then I had an understanding. I had identification to understand that I was a messenger and that this, what I was doing was for the world. Because I thought about it this way. What if I had not written Better Days Ahead? Would something else have touched that guy to be able to put his soul in peace like that?
Yeah.
And I have to say, no, it was meant to be this way, and I did. And so now, from that point forward, I recognize my calling. And so my guitar has a new name. I call it the Spirit Catcher.
Oh, excellent. Excellent.
Yes.
That is great. So, man, I'll tell you, I mean, I'm moved by that. I have some stories like that, too. And it's great when you know that what you're doing isn't for play and it's not about the money or the fame. It's like you said, it's the calling. It's what God placed you here for, or whoever you believe in. This is what you were put here for, to make someone else have a moment.
And since that time,
you know,
I've heard the most heartwarming stories from my music, from a guy using my song "I Might" to approach a lady who ends up being his wife because of that song. I've heard fans tell me this child, and this child. This one was born from any love. That one was born from love. So I'm thinking, you know what I'm saying?
Yes, I do. Yes, I do.
Families are being built off this music.
Yeah.
It's incredible. And then, not to mention cancer patients in chemo healing, and this is keeping their attitudes positive and their souls rich so they can fight this thing. Dude, I'm telling you, man, I take this very, very seriously.
We thank you so very much. Are you out on tour right now?
I am doing a little bit of both. I'm starting to go back out on tour, but I've been sort of in the lab, just working on a bunch of new projects, including recording. But I'm developing some programs for the internet. I created something I call NBTV, which is a streaming channel that I have that I'm making content for. I have a talk show so far, about 8 episodes, and I got a guitar school, the state-of-the-art guitar program. I have a program for fans called Music Appreciation 101, and then I have some life coaching classes, Definite Chief Aim, help people find their aim in life. You know, I was fortunate at 8 years old. I knew exactly what I was going to be doing with my life. Well, a lot of people don't. Identify that part of themselves, and so I'm taking some time to do some life coaching and helping people with that. And I have this one program called A Framework for Thinking and Reasoning About Life. So this is a way to tune up the mind, strength of the mental, so that we can make choices and decisions that afford us the lifestyle that we want to have. Break some of this programming down. You know, what I find, man, is there's a lack of a knowledge of thyself in the world. And I'm going to say, especially amongst my people, we really have been taken away and torn apart from our true selves. And so I have a spiritual program that I work with people on, and, you know, we work on identification of thyself. And I don't mean as a culturally, I don't mean just as a black or white man or none of that. I mean, not even gender. I'm talking as a being. Know thyself as a being. What is this being, this vessel that we live in called, the human experience? So, lots going on, man. So NBTV, y'all be looking out for that. Come on and join the Romantic community, and let's learn together.
Cool beans. Well, come back and tell us when you got it all ready and up and running, and we'll talk about it some more.
I would love that. Thank you, Carl. I appreciate you, man.
No problem.
I got to have you on the show, too.
Hey, man, please do. I love talking to you, Norman. Dude, I could talk to you for the rest of the show, I'll be honest. But I guess somebody might say, go play some music, Carl. But thank you for dropping by, Norman Brown.
Carl, man, thank you so much for having me on the show, and much love to you. And once again, happy birthday to you, Carl.
Oh, man, thank you, Norman Brown, man. You take care of yourself. I'm going to go play Late Night Drive for them. So you got me all teary-eyed. Late Night Drive from them from the Let's Get Away album, man. I love you. Thank you so very much.
Love you too, man. Y'all keep it locked right here with Carl
man,
on WCO. What is it?
WCOM.
COM. That's what's up. All right. Thank you. Norman Brown out.